Imagine a writer whose words could shake empires, whose stories could capture the vastness of human existence, and whose ideas would inspire revolutions of thought. That man was Leo Tolstoy. A literary titan and a radical thinker, Tolstoy gave the world War and Peace, a novel so epic it redefined storytelling, and Anna Karenina, a tragic masterpiece that continues to haunt readers today. But Tolstoy wasn't just a novelist. He was a man at war with himself, an aristocrat who renounced wealth, a pacifist who inspired Gandhi, and a philosopher who questioned everything from love to government to the very meaning of life. His words still resonate today, not just as great literature, but as a challenge. What does it mean to truly live? Without further ado, here are 50 of his greatest quotes. If you want to be happy, do not dwell in the past. Do not worry about the future. Focus on living fully in the present. People try to do all sorts of clever and difficult things to improve life, instead of doing the simplest, easiest thing, refusing to participate in lies. There is no condition to which a man cannot become accustomed, especially if he sees that everyone around him lives in the same way. To say that you can love one person all your life is just like saying that one candle will continue burning as long as you live. All that is needed for happiness is a quiet, secluded life in the countryside with the possibility of being useful to people. The most difficult thing, but an essential one, is to love life, to love it even while suffering. The higher a man stands on the social ladder, the greater is his moral responsibility. The more we live by our intellect, the less we understand the meaning of life. Happiness consists of living each day as if it were the first day of your honeymoon and the last day of your vacation. The whole world is divided into 3 parts. One fights, another prays, and the third works. The only way to truly defeat an enemy is to love them. To love life is to love God. The hardest and most joyful thing is to love this life in spite of its suffering. A king is history's slave. If you know your path, follow it. If you do not know, listen to your heart. We can know only that we know nothing, and that is the highest degree of human wisdom. Man is free in his dreams, but bound by his actions. No great mind has ever existed without a touch of madness. There is no justice in war, only survival. Each government says it is fighting for peace, but in reality, it is always fighting for power. Happiness is the ability to love, to be useful, and to appreciate the world around us. The greatest wisdom is knowing that you know nothing. You can never truly know yourself until you suffer. It's until we throw off the shackles of fear, we cannot truly love. To live honestly, a person must first break all the chains that bind them. Without love, life has no meaning. The more a man loves, the closer he is to God. Joy lies in the struggle, in the attempt, in the suffering involved, not in the victory itself. And governments exist to enforce the will of the strong upon the weak. War is such a terrible thing, and yet there is nothing more thrilling than war. The law is only an agreement among robbers. One can lie with words, but also with silence. Knowledge is often mistaken for wisdom. The only true wisdom is in knowing you are ignorant. No one is satisfied with his position, but everyone is satisfied with his wit. The greatest pleasure is to live as one likes. A man can live and be healthy without killing animals for food. Therefore, if he eats meat, he participates in taking animal life merely for the sake of his appetite. The energy of love does not just disappear. An arrogant person considers himself perfect. This is the chief harm of arrogance. It interferes with a person's main task in life, becoming a better person. The power of the state is based on organized violence. Everything that I understand only because I love. Truth, like gold, is to be obtained not by its growth, but by washing away from it all that is not gold. What counts in making a happy marriage is not so much how compatible you are, but how you deal with incompatibility. To change the world, we must first change ourselves. If you want to improve the world, start with yourself. He was afraid of defiling the love which filled his soul by speaking of it. There is no bond greater than the bond between a loving heart and a grateful soul. There are as many kinds of love as there are hearts. Boredom, the desire for desires. The best way to live a good life is to be what you pretend to be. No matter how much a snake sheds its skin, it is still a snake. Leo Tolstoy's works have transcended time, offering not just stories but deep reflections on life, love, and human nature. His ability to capture the vastness of history in war and peace, and the intimate struggles of the heart in Karenina, proves his genius as a storyteller. Yet beyond literature, his philosophical journey, his rejection of wealth, his advocacy for peace, and his search for moral truth continues to inspire thinkers, activists, and artists around the world. His legacy is not just in the books he wrote, but in the questions he forced us to ask about the way we live. His works push us to consider the complexity of human existence, the weight of our choices, and the struggle between fate and free will. Tolstoy didn't just want us to read. He wanted us to think, to feel, and ultimately to change. His life reminds us that even the greatest minds wrestle with doubt and transformation. He was an aristocrat who rejected privilege, a man of faith who defied organized religion, and a writer who sought something deeper than words. His evolution from a celebrated novelist to a radical thinker reflects an undeniable truth. True wisdom comes not from certainty, but from questioning the world around us. Tolstoy challenged himself constantly, and through his works, he challenges us to do the same, to think deeper, to love more honestly, and to seek meaning beyond material success. He teaches us that happiness is not found in wealth or status, but in living truthfully, in embracing simplicity, and in dedicating ourselves to something greater than personal gain. His influence is not confined to literature alone. His ideas on pacifism and resistance to oppression have shaped leaders and movements across history, proving that the written word can ignite real-world change. Even over a century after his death, Tolstoy's words remain as powerful as ever. His insights into love, morality, and the human condition speak to us today, just as they spoke to readers in his time. The questions he posed about happiness, justice, and the meaning of life are the same questions we continue to struggle with. And perhaps that is the mark of true greatness, not just in answering the questions of a generation, but in continuing to provoke thought long after one's time has passed. His legacy is an invitation to reflect, to seek truth, and to live with purpose. Whether you are encountering Tolstoy for the first time or revisiting his works, his words have the power to challenge and inspire you in ways that few others can. If Tolstoy's journey and ideas resonated with you, we invite you to continue the conversation. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What lessons have you taken from his works? And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support helps us bring you more inspiring stories and thought-provoking discussions. We wish you all of the happiness in the world and hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.